The next general meeting for the 20th of April. This is our second general meeting we're actually having for this year. And there's a couple of points on the agenda that we're just going to go through. And I would like to start this afternoon off by asking the Zell just to go through the apologies for us, if possible.
Apologies, Lucinda, you are on mute.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everybody. Apologies from Porty. He is unfortunately has work commitments, so he won't be here for today's meeting. Thanks so much.
All right, perfect. That's an apology that we have received at this point. Then the next point on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting. And can I ask Marana to just speak on that, please?
Hi, everyone. So I just welcome everyone that's here. I just wanted to ask the previous minutes that were created and posted on the link that was shared on the WhatsApp group. Is there anyone that's got any objections with the minutes? Do you want to go through it? Did anyone find any issues with what was mentioned? You're welcome to unmute yourself and mention anything if you want to. You can group post. You can. Thank you, Tian. Anyone else? Okay, brilliant. Can we then accept that the previous minutes was accepted and we can sign it off and it's fine with everyone? A thumbs up would be great. Oh, thanks, Peter. Thanks, Pierre. Thanks, Marietta. Thanks, guys. And that is it. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm gonna just, if you can, maybe comment on it. If you say that I've seen there's some comments about the sound that's not great. Maybe just let's see which laptop works the best, and then we go on. So the minutes has been accepted. We'll sign them off, and then something that we'll discuss on the progress is a better way for communication. I believe communication at the moment is been done really well. we haven't had a lot of people complaining about the communication on the WhatsApp and where we are and so on. I think that's very important for the success of this program or this project that we're busy with. And I want to really applaud the community, because there is over 600 people on the main WhatsApp group, and that is a very important source of communication. So we'll go into that next. The next point on the agenda is the progress, where we are, what's happening, and obviously this falls part of the communication. I want to start this off, and I think I'm gonna take most of the time on this progress point, and that is that I don't know who of you are aware. This is a little bit of a negative point to get started, but it is the reason why we're doing what we're doing at the moment. Our biggest challenge at the moment is people are saying, but why do we want to close? Why this? Why that? Well, for the last 6 months, it has proven itself that our biggest problem in our community is crime with cars, not people walking in and breaking into our houses. This week again, got a call from a lady literally around the corner from my house, 100 meters from my house. A car pulled in, with SUV reversed in, broke open all the doors. This lady actually locks every single door in her house. They even broke the door that went to the bathroom, which she locks, that if someone tries entering through a bathroom, that they can't just access her property immediately. They literally destroyed all of the doors in that property, took every single TV, every single laptop, everything that's valuable. They literally ransacked the property. Now, that is the #1 reason why we are doing what we're doing. The long and the short of that, the end of that was that the security company actually gave chase. They started chasing them. They had so many ways out of our community that the security company couldn't do anything to stop these criminals. And that is why we are doing what we're doing. If you think of December, I think it was the 24th of December, please don't quote me on the exact dates. Once again, I think it was Wilson Street, another car that broke in, the hijacking that took place. Every single incident that I'm aware of in the last 6 months, probably closer to a year, has been done with some form of using our roads into our communities. That is why it's so important and vital for us as a community to do what we are doing right now. In the last 6 months, I think there was 2 crimes that was committed in our community that was done by foot. The one was also very close to my property, where they took a gas bottle and they went out. So there's so many incidences of cars that's causing these problems, that it's important. Something that I just at looking at the last 3 to 4 weeks in Putout Street, a dog. Yeah, I don't even want to go into the details of this, but the long and the short is also a car, a motor vehicle. So there's enough proof for us to prove that we need this project to be a success to the council. And I must be very honest, I'm very proud of the community and the team. We've really done some amazing work as a community, and things are happening. So on incidences that's happened in the last couple of weeks, couple of days, literally last week, incident, and it just keeps on going. So I'm sharing this because people are asking, why do we want to do it? Why is it so important? Well, that's why it's important. We haven't seen a lot of challenges. Well, even today, I don't want to go into the details of it, but even today, again, there was crime committed very close to our community, literally main road, once again, a vehicle. So these things, we need to start cleaning out our community and protecting our community. On another note about this is that my kids is part of an organization, and they are teamed up with Clean Benoni. So my kids literally went to clean another community this morning for 3 hours, picking up rubble. This organization is painting the streets and cleaning out the robots and doing a lot of work within the Benoni area. And I believe we can do that in our community as well. We can get the voortrekkers and the scouts and the school right on our porch to do a community process or progress where for 2 hours on a Saturday morning we can get together and clean our parks. But once we are closed, we know that the parks will last longer for much better than just cleaning it now and Monday it will be a disaster again. So I'm very excited about doing those type of projects in our community once this is a success, because I've seen how it works in other gated communities that's already been gated and successful. So another one that what came to my attention yesterday was a very old successful enclosure in Edenvale. They are going so far to retar their community wherever there's problems because they don't want to wait for council to do it. Now, those type of things they do as a sub project, and it's great to see that we can do those things as a community. We've got the skills in our community to do these things, but we need to be able to protect what we have so that we can start doing these things. So on the incidences and progresses and future plans, there's really a whole bunch of things that we can do. Even whatever the case might be, at the end of the day, we as a community, I think, has united very well that we can start doing way more than what we've done in the past and just stood back and looked at what's happening. And I think that's the exciting part of where we're going. The next point on the progress is I can tell you, I'm not going to go into too much detail on it, but this week we got official letters from SARS that has been handed in to help us with proper tax management within the organization, and even some great benefits, which I'm not going to go into detail now because I don't know if it's approved and when it approves, and it is a state organization, but there might be some great benefits for us as a community in the near future for supporting this organization and going forward. So it's not just going to be a one-sided situation. There's actually greater benefits for us outside of just the safety for every single one of us. And then on the communication, before I go over to the next important part, is that we just discussed that we might create a Tiana, I note that, and I'll speak about it in a second. It is, yeah, I'm noting that. Did you guys see it? All right, so I note that. I'll discuss it in a couple of seconds. Just on communication, the plan is that the drive that was just shared with the link, we're going to probably rename it as community feedback or communication. And I want to say that we'll load all the important communication into that file, because it's very easy to just share that link on your phone. You can go in, you don't have to do too much to get access to that information. So I think after the quotes that has been sent out in that link and that format, I think we might do that more often in the future. So look out for that. If there is certain communication that you guys as a community want from us, please approach us. We're not closed-minded. We're not going to tell you this is this or that. There is certain things, private information. We're not going to budge on any of that. And financial information, outside of the contributing groups, we're going to have certain things in place to protect private, the POPI Act. So, but if there's any ideas and feedback or suggestions, please share it with us. The five of us, are doing our utmost best. We're all employed. We all have our own times, things that we need to do. We're doing this for free, and we're doing this part-time as we get time. Some of us, I've seen some of the ladies work at 11, 10 o'clock at night to get the success of this organization done. So if you have suggestions, please brainstorm and let's see how we can do it. All right. On that, the S18 that was just mentioned, I just want to open up the chat. The S18A for donations, we are looking into it. I don't know if our tax expert is on this meeting at the moment, but we are looking at it. We are doing our best that we can for tax deductions and so on, for whatever contributions you are doing towards the organization. I'm not too educated 100% on every single detail about it, but we are looking into that, getting the organization registered at that, so that every one of us that contributes does get a financial benefit from donating to the cause as well. So yes, we do have someone that's busy going through the Section 18A documentation with the taxes. The moment we've got all the details, and I can say that publicly, without, if I make a statement about it now, the whole team is jeopardized, because someone can say, but you said this and now it's that. We don't want to cause that. We rather want to work on the facts that we have right now. If we can, and if it's successful, then we will share it once we have successfully done the registrations according to the Section 18A for the donations. But please don't get your hopes on it now. Don't take it as a fact. But we definitely hoping to do that very, very soon. All right, now we are going to move over to the street forms. The street forms at the moment are standing at 66.34% of what is definitely been gone through. Lizelle has done a lot of work on that, double checking the forms and so forth and so on. What I do want to focus on is the next couple of pieces of information, and that is that we do have a challenge with 4 streets or 4 portions of our community. The first street is Edward Street. So if you are on Edward Street and you know your neighbors, please let them get a hold of us so that we can. Edward Street is like, I think there's 40 signatures. I think there's 40 signatures outstanding in the Edward Street, and that 40 signatures are literally going to take us from 66 to like in the 70%. It's going to give us exactly 10%. And what I want to make a statement about is that we wouldn't apply before we at least have 75% of the community signatures. And the reason for that is that if someone withdraws a signature, that we don't fall underneath the 67% that we need. So if we get 4 more signatures, we'll have 67%. But if we apply with that and someone withdraws a signature, which everybody in this community has their right to withdraw whenever they choose to, then we might end up in a situation where we fall underneath the minimum criteria, and then we've got to redo everything we've done. So please, if you know people in Edward Street, Knight Street, Skull Street, and Palm Village, those are the 4 streets. So from highest to lowest, Edward, we've got 40 signatures outstanding. The other 3, I don't have exact numbers, but all of them are over 10 signatures outstanding. Palm Village, I know, is 13 signatures outstanding. So if you stay in Palm Village or any of the, or know someone in Palm Village, please speak to us so we can get better access for them to look at the documents and maybe sign it. Skull Street and Knight Street is the other streets that is crucial. So if anybody is in those streets or knows people, please help us with that. The next street that is just under, I think they've got 9 signatures outstanding, is Wilson. So if you are in Wilson and you know people in Wilson, please just assist us. We are going to, once I've discussed the next point, we are going to go into another street form signing focus, and also businesses focus, which we need for the application. But the next step is more important, and that is that the last, I think this is the last point on the progress, is that in the last couple of weeks since the previous meeting, we've done a lot of work on the traffic impact study. We've done a whole bunch. We've tried a couple of ways to approach engineers. At the end of the day, we had, I think it's 3 quotes that came in. was 3 quotes that we received. And I want to quickly just discuss some of the details. For those of you that actually looked at the quotes, from my personal opinion, I'm very excited about where we are, because there's 3 quotes that we received. The first quote is for 60,185 Rand. And then Lizelle actually made a very nice breakdown of how much it actually costs per household to help us to contribute towards and get that study done. And the second quote is 140,000, and then the last quote was 99,500. And when you look at numbers like this, you've got to ask certain questions. What's the pros and the cons of using which companies? And I don't have a lot of pros and cons about any of these companies except one. And that is, I've got pros about the 60,185 Rand quotation. I can probably say that the engineer's name is Yaku. And the pros that we do have is that we have on our literally doorstep, we've got a project. We successfully done the work, and they successfully got approval from the council, which is Lillington. Yaku is the engineering company, or the traffic engineering company that did the impact study for Lillington. And for me, I like to work on referrals. It just makes decisions a little bit more at ease when you know someone is trustworthy and they successful at what they do. So my suggestion and the pros about that first quote, he was actually the fastest. The day we sent it, that same day we received the quote, and the other ones took their time. They are definitely, there's definitely, I just want to quickly, sorry, I just want to read the comments. Yeah, so there's definitely other companies that have more details and these type of things. The flip side of it is that we want to spend as little money as possible as a community. We're not the most affluent community in South Africa. And also we want to try and obviously manage the community's money as best as we can. So having said all of that, we as the directors has made a decision that we're not going to make a sole decision about this. The decision is going to be put out for voting on the contributing members group. There's a group of so every single person that contributes towards the cause, they get added to a contributing member, financial contributing group, and in that way we have a place where we know who actually has been contributing financially so far. There's just under 100 households already that's contributed towards the cause, and we just feel that it's the best for us to give them, because it's their money that we're technically managing within this project, that they have a decision on which quote we're going to make a decision on. This is public. We are going to run a poll at the end of this meeting on the contributing members group, and then there's 2 things that we're going to use as guidelines. The first one is that the moment we've got more than 2/3 of that group their votes, then we're gonna start with the next step. I'm going to ask Myron to take over with the next step now. The second method that we want to use is that by 7 o'clock Monday night, it's going to be the cutoff for the voting. And then by that time, we would have to have a decision made. It is important that we get the engineer appointed, because we only have 6 months. So from the first signature on the street form, we only have 6 months to apply to the council. If we go over the 6-month period, then obviously we need to redo the signatures. And that is why it's important for us to get the decision made. The second reason why it's very important is that we are not allowed to do the traffic impact study in a school holiday. It has to be in normal conditions. And the next school holiday is 2 months away. So the winter holiday is very close. If we're going to wait too long, we're going to end up having to postpone it to go in further. And then the last point is there's an increase coming from the council side on the application. So we want to hand in the number one objective of all of us in the beginning was to hand it in before that increase. And well done to the community. I think we are on that place. All right. Before I'm going to hand over to Marna, Tian, you can unmute yourself and go for it.
Sure, thanks, John. Just excuse my ignorance on the following question, but is there any risk involved if we use a non-VAT registered organization? I mean, in the sense, is there a possibility that they would not recognize the report if submitted?
No. So just ask that question again, Tian. We unmuted ourselves just too late. Are you asking that is there any risk involved in appointing a company that's not VAT registered?
Correct, that's my question.
All right. So no, there's no risk in that. Obviously, I know a little bit more about business and VAT and not VAT registered. As long as you are a tax registered company and you're a registered entity on CIPC, or even you can be a sole proprietor and trade as a sole proprietor person, there is no risk in that. And the reason why I can make that statement very comfortably is they've done Lillington and accepted it. He is also on the list that is approved by Ekurhuleni to do this work. We haven't approached any company, any traffic company that was not on the approval list from Ekurhuleni.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that clarification.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Marna. If you just want to explain to us the legal side of making the decision from the votes.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Okay. So, Jean wants, I don't know exactly what I should say, what I should not say, but as a legal entity, the directors are appointed to run the company. Okay, so it's a non-profitable company. And so the directors are actually the ones that's supposed to make the decisions. But we've all decided and that we would like for the contributing members, because this is not just a group for the 5 of us. This is a group that everyone's got the input, especially the contributing members, because the directors are also contributing members. We would like for all the contributing members to make the final decision on which service provider will be chosen. This way we've got everyone's input. So if anyone's got a concern or a question, whatever, you're welcome to put it in and ask and put it to us now. Obviously, Jean can make an educated recommendation on which service provider we should use based on the fact that they were already successful and they've already assisted one of our sister neighborhood sections. But the ultimate decision lies within everyone who is buying into this dream, buying into the dream and idea of having a better and safer community. So yeah, that's basically it. That's why they want to create a poll and they want to keep it open, and we really want everyone to just buy into the idea. If there's any questions, you're welcome to ask, but go through the quotes and have a look at it. I personally also support the idea of going with the contractor called Yaku, because he was successful at the area very close to us. Yeah, but if anyone else has got a question, I mean, feel free to point it at us and let us know, what we should look at and what do you think, and maybe there's somebody in the community that's got a little bit of more expertise or experience in this type of thing, and then maybe they can point something else. But yeah, that's ultimately the decision, and we'll put it up to all the contributing members to decide what do they think, or what do they suggest, which supplier we should go with, and based on that, the final decision will be made.
Perfect. All right. So something else I just want to quickly mention on that. Thank you, Marna, for that. Something I just want to add as well is that on the VAT, we are not a VAT registered entity at the moment. I want to say try and avoid being a VAT registered entity as long as possible, because the moment you're a VAT registered entity, you've got to make certain payments towards your VAT every 2 months. It becomes way more labor intensive, and there's no real benefit for us than to use a non-VAT registered company. If I do business and you're not VAT registered, I can't do business with you. I usually source a company that is VAT registered because I pay VAT. I want to claim my VAT back from service providers that delivers a service to me. If you are not a VAT registered company, like in the situation with Yaku, and we are also not a VAT registered company, it basically zeroes each other out, and there's no VAT that's going to be paid for it. We actually saving 15% in this situation. If we were a VAT registered entity and we used a non-VAT registered company, then we would have sort of lost that 15%. But in this situation, there's no difference for us as an organization if we use a VAT or a non-VAT registered company to provide the service. I think for me, the fruits on the tree is the reason why I would like the community, or my vote goes to Yaku, just because I've seen what he's done. Once you're successful, that's what I want. I would rather trust someone that has done it before than use someone that we don't really have direct results from as yet. So that's just my 10 cents about that. The last point on today's agenda before we close this meeting is going to be the finances. So I'm going to hand it over to Lucindy to cover the finance first.
Thank you, John. Hi, community members. So the finances will take approximately 30 seconds to do because there's not really much to say. Seeing that we only have an income stream at the moment, once we start doing the traffic impact study and we pay for that and start having the enclosure being done, we'll obviously have expenses, and then it'll be a more comprehensive financial feedback than at the moment. But I think a very positive point is that we're sitting with just under 100,000 Rand in our bank account from you guys at the moment. So thank you very much for that. We are well on our way to actually having the funds to make a good progress. We can pay for the traffic impact study, and we can source some more funding going forward. So well done on that. So just quickly for our March. So our income stream for March was about 21,000 Rand. That's not far off from what it was for February. February was also 21,405 Rand. And that's a little bit lower than what we had for January, but obviously we started in January and everybody was very excited. And I think it petered down a little bit from there. I think the message here is that we all need to just continue. This needs to be a continuous contribution from everybody every month. I know it's tough economic conditions for everyone, but if you can see it fit in your budget, please make a contribution. Those households that do make a contribution, thank you. 48 households of our 717 properties has actually contributed. So that gives us a 7% of the actual households in our community that has contributed. So there's room for improvement, but thank you once again for everybody that has made contributions. I think 7% is a good return. So we'll keep you updated for April. Let's push and see if we can make that at least a 30 or 35,000 Rand contribution. And we go from strength to strength. Thank you, guys.
All right, I just, while we're on finance, I really want to urge everybody, let's try and get our contribution numbers up. It might not be to all of you that's on this call at the moment, but it might be for those that's going to look at this video on YouTube within the next couple of days. The reason why it's so important is that it's going to help us not be in the situation where in the future, when we start closing the community, to ask for big lump sums of money for our community. If we do the little thing of 100 Rand or even 50 Rand a month, or just deciding to be one of the 3 tiers on a monthly contribution, that's going to help us to do this project at the end without having too much financial pressure to get these things done. There is a whole bunch of things that needs to be in place when we get to that point, but at the end of the day, every single bit that we receive every single month, that is small bites, is going to help us to make the large investment when we do the actual work so much easier for every single one of us. And that is why it's so important that we do it. And thank you to the contributing members. We've seen some really gracious amounts being contributed, and I must say it's inspiring to see this project going forward. So yeah, I think from my side, that is, we're going to wrap this meeting up. If there's anything from any of the other directors, there's a point that's busy being raised. Who am I going to give it over to? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to open up the mic just for Marna to explain.
Hi everyone. So I was spreading a note like in classroom to ask if there is a non-contributing member on this call, or when this video, because it's being recorded, is going to be shared on YouTube, if anyone is not a contributing member and you would like to become a contributing member so that you can have a vote on which service provider we do appoint, in this case the traffic engineer. If you are not currently a contributing member and you'd like to be a contributing member, please start contributing as soon as possible. The moment you start contributing before the poll ending, which is on Monday at 7 o'clock, like Jean said, then you can still vote. Then you'll be automatically placed onto that WhatsApp group. You'll become part of the exclusive Cool Kid membership group that you can also have your say in who you would like for us to use as a service provider. So there's still some time left. Continuous contributions will be even better, because think about this now. If you contribute a little bit every month, it contributes a lot towards contributing something like a larger amount later on, down the line. So try to contribute little bits. That's what my family is doing. We're contributing every month a little bit towards it, and also it gives my family a vote that in what service provider we can use and so on. Okay, so that's the only thing, the note that we've been spreading around here, and that's all I wanted to say. Is there any other questions, guys? Hi, Sibongela. I want to address your question about the contributing details. We will share it on the normal WhatsApp group for everyone in Witfield at the moment. We'll share it there as well with a few other information, and then you can always just start contributing. I do want to emphasize, please just when you contribute, make sure that you use your street address as the reference for the payment, because what happens is that our awesome Lucinda here, what she does is she keeps track of who does what type of payments, and then she links it to your address, and she keeps that history of your address. So whatever you've paid over through, a few months or years, whatever, it is always linked to your address. Okay.
All right, I just got another question on debit orders. We were looking into it. At the moment, it's not a viable solution, just because of percentages. So it still might come. I know a lot of other communities does a debit order system. Hopefully in the future we might get that going. At the moment, we're trying to safeguard as much percentages that we can. Once we've applied, and I think we get closer to a point where we know the decision is now going to be final, then it might be a little bit more sustainable and wise to make that decision, because then we know we have our minimum income coming in to pay the guards and to pay the services that we're going to have on a monthly basis. That's going to be the vital thing at the end for the success of this project, is to know that we have X amount of money as an income. At the moment, it's about 20,000 Rand, as Lucinda has just mentioned. So at the moment, we technically halfway to just paying the guards once we have this successful at the income that we have at the moment. And And that's why it's important for us to ask the community to contribute rather less, but on a consistent basis, so that we know we've got this amount of money coming in. We can cover our monthly expenses once the project is successful. That's our outside of the gates and the closing and the cameras and everything else that we want to put into the infrastructure. But this is the income that we know we're going to have to spend on guards to make sure the guards are at the gates. It's compulsory to have qualified guards at the entrances where we get manned gates, and that is why it's important for us to have sort of a knowingness of how much the income is going to be. And at that point, we're probably going to look into debit orders. But at the moment, my suggestion is create a stop order on your own account and share that from your stop order out of your account. If you're afraid you're going to miss it or forget about it, maybe just create a stop order. The great thing about a stop order is you are in control. It's not us. We don't run it and just run it. You create it on your side. Create a stop order, and then you know you are 100% in control once every month that payment goes out. So, and also it's less percentages from our side. Another thing, I know there's people making ATM payments, and I want to urge, avoid it if you can, because we paying bank service fees on that ATM payment, and I don't want to be ungrateful, but for us, it's really trying to safeguard as much as possible. If it's you, and if you're listening to this, maybe get a hold of me. Let's find a better way to do this. Maybe you can, we can come and speak to us so that we can maybe find a better way. We don't want to do cash. I want to be blunt and say we don't want to do cash because of the safety risk behind it. We in South Africa, we don't want to do cash. But if you're really in that position, we're grateful for that payment. Rather get a hold of us and let's rather find another way to do it. Maybe someone else take the cash and just does an EFT, then there's no fees or something. But that's just a suggestion. All right, so we are going to close this meeting. We can't guarantee you that we'll have a physical meeting at the next date, but we're going to try. I know the older generation, the baby booming generation has said they rather want to meet up. The thing is just when we do a physical location, there's other people involved, which we're taking some of their time to help us with a venue, for instance, with the church. So catering for 10 people at a meeting is not always great, but the next meeting we're going to try and do a physical one. Otherwise, solution will be online again. We're planning at the moment for the 20th of July. There might be a special meeting popped in before that, if it happens that way, because there's going to be a lot of things happening in the next couple of months. There might be a short notice special meeting and appoint or announce. Please have a look or keep an eye on the group. And we're working hard to keep this under an hour. We will. That's a commitment from our side. And then before we close, Tian, go for it.
Thanks, John. Sorry, I'm not sure if this question has been raised before, but the traffic impact study, do you have any indication how long the process takes?
To be very honest with you, I don't. I'm not sure how many days they're actually coming out to count the cars that flows in every street. The other thing as well is that whatever proposal we've given to them, they've literally gone counted the streets and they're going to come back with another proposal. So I'm not sure how long it is, but I don't think it's going to take like a whole month. I think it might be like 3 or 4 days on the major intersections just to count the cars that flows through those intersections.
All right, thanks.
What I can say to you is, and that's why a special meeting might be announced unplanned, is that once we've sat down with the traffic engineer, we know more details, we will obviously bring it and communicate it as soon as possible. For us, from myself and from the team, the one thing we do stand for is transparency. We're not going to do anything if it's not transparent. We're going as far as giving the contributing members the right to vote, because rather be transparent, everybody knows what's happening. So once we know important information like that, we will definitely share it. I hope that answers your question, Tia.
Yeah, happy, thanks. And then lastly, just a big thanks to you and the direction team. Awesome work, guys.
It's a big pleasure, and we really appreciate guys like you as well. We're a team. Yes, there's certain things that has to be done, but there was so many people in this community that's created the success of where we are. I don't even want to start on the names, because every name I see on in front of me has done something from their side to come out, walk in the Protea Gardens, walk into that street, gone here, gone that, created logos. So there's so many things. We as a community can make amazing things happen. And I think that's what we are excited for, and we're grateful for that. Thanks, Tia. All right, have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you probably on a special meeting before the 20th, but definitely on the 20th of July. Please contact us. Our doors are wide open for any suggestions. We're definitely not going to say no. Let's discuss it, please. If there's anything that you can help us with, please come to us. Have a great weekend. See you guys soon.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.